Hello gold farmers, welcome to another Gold Farming video. Today we'll be taking a look at a pretty good farm. I would probably consider this one of the best farms in 8.3 as of right now. It could change, but anyways, the basics, you'll need skinning, unfortunately. So if you don't want to go get skinning, then this farm won't be as viable as it would be. You could still farm it for a decent amount of gold, but nowhere near as much as what we will be getting. So the biggest reason why you'll want skinning is because you can skin these mobs for the dredged leather, which dredged leather on my server is going for 50 gold at the moment. I don't have TSM updated, so TSM is a little bugged and not showing the accurate prices. You'll also be able to get some questionable meat, which on my server the questionable meat is going for about 130 gold per unit. Which again, TSM is a little bugged for me because I don't have it updated, so it's not going to show the accurate price. I was able to sell some. We can go see if we have sold more here in a minute, but to get this farm down, you'll want to pull in groups of 3 once you get a majority of the mobs pulled. So like for example right here, I'll pull all of these mobs in one big pull. And I try to always have at least 3 mobs pulled, and as you can see I did de-aggro some of those mobs, so I'll go and try to pull those again. But if you do big pulls like this, then you'll want to make sure that you have one of the humanoids, or the hunters, I don't know exactly what they're called, but you'll want to make sure that you have those aggroed because they'll give you this buff called the Might of the Sun, which allows you to deal more damage to mobs, or you have a chance to deal more damage to mobs, and when you get that damage increase, it definitely is big. I would also recommend that you have the Dark Moon Firewater on, so that way you are skinning the mobs quite a bit quicker, and so on and so forth. So again, we'll do another big pull here. And then I'll show you where else you need to pull, because you won't just be pulling the Dune Runners, you'll also be pulling the lines up at the top, which I want to show you guys how I deal with that, because they do have more HP than all of these other mobs. So I do want to share with you guys on how I pull those in order to kill them pretty quick. I am clicking right now just because I don't normally run Guardian spec, so I am very unfamiliar with it. But anyways, as you can see, a lot of dredged leather and a lot of the questionable meat as well. And I have a large amount of the dredged leather in my bags right now. The bloodstained bones are also selling for a decent amount on my server. I believe they are going for the 15 gold they are. If not, it was about 30 gold. It was one of those two prices, so we are getting a good amount of gold here. Doesn't look like the lines are up at the moment, but what I'll do is there are 2 more hunters that spawn here. Along with this one, I'll sit about here for a couple seconds, get 6 of the stack of Might of the Sun. Then I'll pull those mobs down here with me. I'll actually go into bear form about here. After I get the stacks of Might of the Sun up, then I will just use one of my attacks so that way that they stay aggroed on me, and then I will pull a bunch of these mobs, or a bunch of the lions, and then go from there. There are about 7 lions that spawn here, so really good spot to hit. I wouldn't recommend skipping it, unless if you can't handle the DPS, which you might not be able to. I am pretty low item level, so I don't see a lot of people really struggling, because I don't really struggle with this area unless if you are a squishy character. anyways, I'm going to run over with you guys the route that I take for this. I'm not going to set it up on my routes just yet, but so basically, let's start over here at this end, just so that way we have a little mark. Then I will run up here again, pulling at least 3 mobs per pull. So I would stop right about here, pull these 3 mobs, and then continue going. If the hunters are up, then I will pull the hunters that are down here, along with these hunters up along here, along with this one dune runner. Then I'll come down here and pull all of these mobs. I usually skip this one because he's usually too far out, so I wouldn't necessarily worry too much about that one. And then you'll have this dune runner right here, along with a couple others that spawn up around this area, which, as you can see, they aren't spawned just yet. I don't believe this is set on a force respawn. I see more of a time respawn, so I wouldn't pull too many more than 3 mobs at a time either until you get to this area right here, because there's a ton of the dune runners that spawn right about here. So now we'll go check the mill just to see if I don't have any of my questionable meat sold again. But as you can see, there are more dune runners here. I don't worry about these, and I believe this is why they're on a timer rather than a forced respawn. It's just because there's so many of these dune runners spread out within Oldham that you just don't see a forced respawn because there's not enough of the dune runners being killed. So while we are on our way to the mailbox, this farm that I am showing you guys is also pretty decent for cloth as well, because we're not focusing on the cloth, and because we aren't a tailor, we won't be getting a whole lot of cloth. But within an hour, I picked up 16 gilded seaweave, which is really good in my opinion. The gilded seaweave was going for about 30 gold per unit on my server, so not too bad in my opinion. And then we got 19 of the tide spray linen and even 2 of the deep sea satin. So I mean, we're not doing too bad, and it doesn't look like any of my questionable meat has sold yet. But I did sell a single questionable meat for 130 gold, so I made 130 gold off of it. And they are selling at that price, but not many of them at the moment. Anyways, that'll be all. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content.